Good morning, everyone. This is Rick Garcia, Executive Director of the Colorado Department of Local Affairs. Welcome. This is the local government coordination call of March 15th. Hope everybody's doing well and looking forward to springtime. I have a few updates related to DOLA, and then we'll turn it over to our usual program that will be facilitated by our DLG staff, Pathways to Recovery and Resiliency, the funding webinar series. Today, the topic is technology and broadband. So let me begin with a few updates. The Division of Housing, along with its implementation partners, the Division of Local Government, the Office of Economic Development and International Trade, the Colorado Housing and Finance Authority, Gary Community Ventures, has scheduled a virtual stakeholder engagement workshop to take place today at noon to 2 p.m. Interested parties, if you haven't already registered, local governments in particular, you can register and participate via Zoom. I think we'll have that link on the chat today. That meeting does follow, or that call does follow at the heels of this local government call when we adjourn. At this meeting in particular, the Division of Housing will cover a variety of topics related to its work to implement the local government commitment requirements identified in Proposition 123, including the methodology for calculating the baseline reference data table. It was previously shared out to local governments for their consideration as they work to determine what their local baseline or affordable housing will be in which to build on their 3-year commitment, which is a requirement to opt in to Prop 123 by local governments. For those who cannot make the meeting today, the meeting will be recorded and posted on DOLA's webpage, linked in today's chat. The Division of Local Government is rolled out its 2023-24 Rural Economic Development Initiative, or READY application. That deadline is coming up. It's this week, March 16th, for eligibility guidelines, application instructions, and other information. You can see the READY web page also linked into this call's chat. The 2023 microgrids for Community Resilience Program planning applications deadline is also quickly approaching. That is set for the end of this month, March 31st. For more information such as the eligibility and instructions, please visit the Microgrids for Community Resilience website, also in today's chat. DOLA has also been asked to remind all entitlement units and EUs of local governments that received ARP funding that it is time again for them to submit their annual reports to U.S. Treasury by April 30th. The NEUs received ARP payments in 2 tranches, just as a reminder, from DOLA back in June and July of 2021 and also in 2022. A communication will go out this week to all the NEU contacts that we have in our system. The email will also include resources for how and where to submit the report. It is vitally important that they get this report submitted to the U.S. Treasury by April 30th deadline. If you need more information or assistance, please reach out to your local regional manager in our DLG program. The Census Count Question Resolution Program, an update from our state demographer's office, is ending soon, in fact, June of 2023. If your local government has found potential errors in housing unit counts, boundaries, or group quarter facilities, things like prisons, nursing homes, or dorms, and other kinds of locations in this count, this is an opportunity for you to bring this to the attention of our local SDO office, and they will ensure that these changes in errors can be made. If you have interest in following up on any of these corrections, please contact Nancy DeLeon at Nancy. And that's spelled GEDEON at state.co.us as soon as possible. Submitting these corrections will take some time, and I understand we're on a timeline and time is running out. And finally, we also wanted to flag that the Colorado Energy Office has launched a local government electric vehicle readiness planning grant application. Local county and local government and tribal governments are also eligible to apply for this funding to help develop a local EV readiness plan that enables EV adoption across our state. The applications are open through April 27th. And to learn more about this particular program, again, please look to the Colorado Energy Office link in today's chat. So with that, I will turn it over to Shel Sabo from our DLG office, specifically our Colorado Resiliency office, and let her introduce our updated program. Shel?
Great, thank you so much, Rick. As a reminder, the goal of this webinar series is to break down state and local funding opportunities to better help local governments and community partners navigate and access potential solutions for the challenges they may be facing. So today, as Rick mentioned, we are going over technology and broadband. We will have a great speaker from OIT, that is Kendall Kramer. And before we jump in, he also has a special announcement on the Broadband Summit that is coming up. So go ahead and take it away, Kendall.
Yes, good morning. I am Kendall Kramer. Thank you for having me this morning. I am a program specialist for federal funding with the Colorado Broadband Office. So I did want to let you know about the Internet for All Colorado Broadband Summit that is coming up next month. It is April 19th and 20th at the Westin Westminster in Denver. And at that conference, it's a day-and-a-half workshop. It'll bring together critical stakeholders in Colorado from the federal, state, tribal, and local governments, industry, and other key collaborators to discuss coordination and broadband efforts, specifically as they relate to our upcoming funding, federal funding through the BEAD program. So I look forward to seeing you there. Yeah, so that's coming up April 19th and 20th. Right. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to present to you today. I am filling in for Brandy Ryder, the Executive Director of CBO, and she had a scheduling conflict with today's meeting. That being said, I hope to provide you with some useful information about broadband in Colorado and provide you with an update on CBO's grant programs. So there are 166,000 households in Colorado without internet service. Of those, about 93,000 or 56% are without home internet because of limited access or their location. An additional 73,000 have access but do not subscribe to services because of affordability. And this creates a digital divide. Next slide, please. In 2022, Governor Polis signed an executive order directing the CBO to develop a 5-year plan, a broadband roadmap, on investing millions of federal dollars to expand fast, reliable, and affordable broadband access across the state. He set a goal of connecting 99% of Colorado households to high-speed internet by December 31st, 2027. Next slide, please. The objectives of this roadmap are to build a network for future generations, think workforce development, strengthen resilience across Colorado communities, including emergency services, economic development, and education. On that note, I should say that CBO, we've had a number of conversations with communities across the state when it comes to emergency services or their entire community being shut down. Think of the more mountainous communities where they don't have enough internet access, or they may only have one provider and it's not broadband, and it will go down and they are left in the dark for sometimes hours, up to 9 or 10 hours, and it creates some major issues. So again, strengthening that resilience across the state of Colorado. Another objective is expanding digital inclusion and adoption to achieve affordability, access, and digital literacy. As you noticed on one of the earlier slides, there are quite a few households in Colorado that do not subscribe to internet because of affordability. And so this is one area where CBO is promoting the ACP, the Affordable Connectivity Program, to encourage folks to be able to sign up. And again, the next objective is to enable Colorado to thrive by fostering and supporting a digital economy. Next slide, please. As you are likely aware, the CBO will receive a significant amount of funding to construct and deploy broadband infrastructure from the federal government. The American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, will provide $171 million for the Capital Projects Fund program, CPF, and approximately $162 million of that will be used for broadband infrastructure. Keep in mind the funding amount for this CPF program is set by a formula that includes population. In 2024, CBO will deploy the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program, BEAD, which is an Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act funded grant program. The amount of funding that we will receive will be determined by the number of unserved and underserved locations in Colorado based on internet data speeds. CBO has heard estimates, or we've received estimates, that we could receive between $400 to $800 million on the amount. And the NTIA and the FCC will make an allocation announcement on June 30th, 2023. Next slide, please. So for the Capital Projects Fund, CBO has a goal of connecting 18,000 unserved households with the CPF program. There will be 2 tiers of funding that will occur simultaneously. We aim to reach the most unserved counties first, followed by any unserved locations. There will be a match requirement for tier 1 and tier 2. The match requirement for tier 1 will be 25%, and the match requirement for tier 2 will be 50%. The Treasury encourages investment, that's the US Treasury. They encourage investment in fiber, although fixed wireless applications will be accepted. Satellite projects, however, are not eligible. All projects that are applied for and built must deliver speeds of 100 megabits per second download and 100 megabits per second upload speeds. If they cannot do that due to Colorado's vast geographic and topography, they have to provide 100 over 20, but it must be scalable, meaning that in the future it could go up to 100 over 100. The program strongly encourages broadband networks owned, operated, or affiliated with local governments, nonprofits, and cooperatives, those entities that provide less pressure to generate profits with a commitment to serving entire communities. So keep that in mind as well. Next slide, please. The timeline for CPF, we are currently developing our CPF guidelines. It took a little bit of time to get our vendor on board to help with setting up the grant portal and the program, but we are well underway. We anticipate that these guidelines will be made available by the end of this month, March, for public comment. The application window opens, or our anticipated opening date is May 29th, 2023. The award selections will be made this fall. And because of the ARPA guidelines or requirements, all projects must be completed and closed out by December 2026. So it is a very fast timeline. When you're developing your projects, keep that in mind. At this time, there's no indication that extensions will be provided by the Treasury. So just keep that in mind when you apply. Next slide, please. For the BEAD program, CBO has received a $5 million planning grant from the NTIA. Next month, again, we are hosting that Internet for All Broadband Summit in Westminster. That is the local coordination event listed down there. Due to the size limitations, we are asking that only 1 to 2 community members attend. However, the conference will have a virtual option for the first day. So keep that in mind. We are also currently working on our 5-year action plan for the Treasury that is due in August. And outlines our goals, objectives, a lot of information about digital equity and how to bridge that digital divide. CBO has launched our CBO Broadband Mapping Hub. That is available on our website now. You can search the availability statistics by specific location for internet access, look at past grant funding that has been received for a specific area, look at speed data, etc. If you notice any errors in that, please make sure to reach out to us. We continue to map challenges with the FCC, so that's an ongoing process. We will also be visiting all of the DOLA planning regions as part of our engagement process this summer. If you are a community interested in hosting us, please let us know. You can reach out to me, and we would love to come and present in your community. And then, of course, for the BEAD program, again, the applications will be accepted, or we'll open that application up in 2024. So for now, we're focusing on CPF, get a little ways to go until the BEAD program opens up. Next slide, please. I briefly want to touch on the Affordable Connectivity Program. As I mentioned, affordability is often a barrier to home internet service adoption in the state of Colorado. However, there is the program, the ACP program, where eligible households can receive a $30 subsidy for mobile or fixed service internet. And so there's 1 of 3 households in Colorado that are eligible for this program. However, only about 25% of Colorado households are signed up for it. We recently held an event with the Lieutenant Governor, and after that event, we had our largest sign up since August of last year. So it's really just word of mouth. There's probably a lot of people in your community that are eligible for this program. And so if you have any information about it, or excuse me, if you're looking for information about it and to check your eligibility, you can send folks to getacp.org. And one thing to mention as well is that participation in the ACP program will be required of all applicants for the CPF and BEAD programs. So it is going to be a requirement that for BEAD, it is a Treasury requirement that applicants participate in those programs and offer those subsidies. Next slide, please. The CBO understands that communities might not know where to start on broadband projects or need assistance to move forward. Therefore, we've developed a broadband readiness program. It's complete with a checklist to assist communities. Communities that complete all of the tasks are eligible to be identified as a broadband ready certified community. We're excited that next month we'll probably be announcing 1 or 2 communities that have done all of those requirements. Keep in mind that this designation is not a requirement to apply for CPF or BEAD funding, and it's not part of the scoring criteria for either program. It simply identifies the community as a willing partner that has reduced barriers to encourage broadband deployment and investment. The next thing that we're launching, we had hoped to launch it today. However, we had some issues with website, getting it up on our website. I was notified this morning that it should be there by the end of this week. But it is a technical assistance program to support communities with preparing for the ACB programs. Next slide, please. So this is a program that we will be contracting CBO with vendors to provide services to eligible communities. We have an open RFP process for interested vendors at this time that I believe closes at the end of this month. Services include the development of broadband strategic plans, feasibility studies, network design, cost estimation, grant preparation, and mapping services. Again, this is a service that the contractors will provide to the communities. No direct financial assistance will go to the communities, but we will align you with a vendor to help complete those activities. Again, the application should be up on our website by the end of this week. Our first round will be due May 1st. However, we have set a sizable amount of funding aside for both of these programs, $275,000 for technical assistance for both the BEAD program, and then another $275,000 for the CPF program for technical assistance. And eligible entities include municipalities, counties, school districts, special districts, councils of governments, and economic development districts. Next slide, please. So if you have any questions, I know I went through a lot of information quite fast this morning. Feel free to reach out to me. If you have any project related questions, reach out to Haitham Ali or Michael Murphy, depending on your location or your region. As you see, it aligns there with that regional map, and they have divided up the state. So again, really project specific questions about technology, reach out to them. If you have any questions about the CPF or BEAD programs, feel free to reach out to me. And with that, thank you for your time this morning. I know I went through a lot of information.
Kendall, thanks for that very swift update, very thorough. If you could stand by, there may be a few questions in either the chat or folks asking directly. So I'm going to turn it over now to Ann Miller to facilitate questions on this update, the broadband update, as well as any other questions from the previous DOLA updates. Ann?
Thank you. Yes, just had a question that about the slides, and yes, we will be sending out the slides, so you'll have all this information later this week in the next day or two. There was, while people are getting their thoughts organized and maybe typing in some questions, there was one other one just about an earlier announcement about the microgrids for community resilience program and when the implementation and construction grants would be open. Right now, it's just the planning grants. And we are anticipating those to be open in late spring, early summer. So stay tuned for that. And while people are, maybe gathering their thoughts and writing questions in, I do know Jemmy has a poll related to broadband. So Jemmy, maybe you could just start that up since it's directly related to Kendall's presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Anne. This is Jemmy here from DOLA, and I'll be sharing our engagement survey for the call. You should see 2 questions pop up soon, and we will give you a minute or 2 to answer it. When we're finished, I will quickly show the results, and then you can feel free to take a screenshot if you need. Just hang on one moment. I'm just trying to pull up the polls. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share the results. Please feel free to take a screenshot if you need.
All right, thank you. Connor, you must have, or Kendall, you must have done a very good job of answering people's questions, because oh, and one just came in. So let me start with this, and this is a broader question. So from Colleen, she is checking in about the IIJA office hours call later this week. And searching funding opportunities, my experience has been that many NOFOs do not specify anywhere that they are related to the IIJA. For example, Water Smart or DOT bus facility grant due next month. Do we need to see some type of link to IIJA in order to assist our jurisdictions with these applications, or are all open to our work as regional grant navigators through the COGS? So yeah, I think that I'm going to take a stab here at responding that while this question is really for our OEdit partner in the recovery office, I do think the intent is to support kind of more broadly, so that you would not be limited only to assist on IIJA related grants. Does anyone else or panelists have anything else to add on that? Okay. All right. Well, Rick, I will go ahead and turn the meeting back to you for any wrap-up comments.
Great, thank you, Ann. And Shell, thank you, as well as Jimmy and Kendall, again, for your technology and broadband update. A lot of movement there and a lot of opportunity. So we all stand by to ensure that we are maximizing the opportunities for broadband installation and subscriber enhancement, as well as covering some of the costs associated with getting lower income communities to become subscribers. So with that, there's nothing more on our agenda. It doesn't appear to be any additional questions. So we appreciate you tuning in today to the local government coordination call. We'll meet again next month. I believe it's the third Wednesday of each month. So we'll see you in April. Thank you all again. We're adjourned.